Hello and welcome to This Is Windows. You better shut the blinds, baby. Microsoft has announced Copilot.
Plus, don't get that confused with Copilot Minus. No, this is Copilot Plus. So I just got back from the Microsoft event where they announced a number of things. Top line, they've got the brand new Copilot Plus PCs. At a baseline, these seem like a big upgrade to PCs. You know, they're ARM powered, but actually good this time. Tons of battery life. I talked to a lot of the...
Hold on. I like how you just gloss it over. Like, yeah, they're just ARM powered, but good. Yeah,
it's been around for a bit.
Windows ARM was dog shit. Nibbler went out back and dropped a big stinking doo-doo and called it Windows ARM before.
Okay, it is better this time around. So the chip is significantly faster. The emulation is much closer to something like Rosetta. It's not gonna be perfect, but it should be now actually good. The way they had the event set up was that they had pretty much all of the OEMs there, ASUS, HP, Dell, Lenovo, you name it. And I was actually able to talk to pretty much everyone because they all had their own systems out. The battery life numbers on like actual real web browsing, 13, 14, 15 hours on a lot of systems. I forget which OEM, someone said, oh yeah, we think we might hit 30 hours of video playback on our system. I'm like, you watched Lord of the Rings twice? I'm not sure, but regardless, I think the real thing, especially since I posted my video that's been very controversial, is recall.
Yeah.
Matt, do you recall the details?
Well, if I had Copilot Plus, I wouldn't have to recall it because it would bring it up for me. So to sum it up, every once in a while, your system will take a screenshot of what you're doing and put it in its own little separate folder. If I want to look up anything that I've done over the past, say, like 90 days, I could pull it up and be like, can you tell me about that thing that I was looking at over here, blah, blah. There's a screenshot that's processing on your device that will be able to recall it and say, here's what you were looking at before.
So this only works on the Copilot Plus PC. So basically, This is not like an update coming to your system. It's using the NPU to do, I would actually say, really cool neural processing. Basically what it does is it splits the entire page out. So we can understand all the text on the screen. It can also understand the photo that's actually in the screenshot. Like I doodled a terrible looking car. I typed the word car in and it could understand that I was drawing a car and it pulled that up for the history. So like it's actually really pretty smart at finding stuff. And importantly, it also ties that screenshot and what you're doing to the apps that are open. You can not only find the screenshot of what you were looking at, copy text or images, whatever out, but also there will be a link directly to open up that PowerPoint or whatever the case is, and it'll bring you directly to where you were at. You just give it how much storage space that it has. So by default, it's 25 gigs. They quoted that could be, for the average user, like 3 months.
I want to talk about that for a second, though. Because, like, after seeing that, it does feel weird that we're still seeing these systems ship with 256 gigs.
The only thing I will argue against that is that all these systems now have 16 gigs of RAM by default. How many times have we complained about every Surface that comes out with 8 gigs of RAM for $1,000?
4 gigs. What are you talking about? 8 gigs? For a long time, it was 4 gigs.
For every Copilot Plus PC is a standard. Partially because you actually need RAM because the NPU is constantly running in the background.
I feel like something that should have been like implemented with this, a dedicated SSD for this feature. Even if it's a small, like we're gonna put in a 60 gig drive, whatever. There's 2 schools of thought on that I have. I either want like a 2 terabyte drive in there and then say like, I want like 2-3 years worth of data on here. Even if they put in like, oh, here's a 60 gig drive that is a like an actual physical cap of how far it could go back. There's a level of like built-in security.
Well, so before we get into that, there's actually a lot to talk about there. So obviously you just turn it off, super simple. And importantly, all of this is happening on device. Now, we were even talking about this morning. The marketing on this has been less than ideal because I think a lot of people have some misconceptions and some misgivings about this. I talked to several different people over the last couple of days at Microsoft, and everyone told me the exact same story. This is happening 100% on your device using the NPU of your system. At no point does any of this information go out to the cloud. It's not even synced with your Microsoft account between PCs, right? It is only on your system. And I understand that that still requires you to trust in Microsoft, but this, I believe that it's running on device. If this starts leaking out, do you realize the shitstorm Microsoft are going to be in? And I will 1000% say that while I will turn this on, the way that I'm going to use it is I'm going to add a bunch of blacklists. So if you don't want it to be taking screenshots of like, I don't know, Netflix or your games or whatever to keep from like filling things up, you could turn that off. You also could turn off specific websites as long as you're using a Chromium-based browser.
What kind of websites are you talking about?
Well,
because I want to be able to...
Oh my God. Well, no. Okay. Whoa,
I want to be able to...
Oh my God.
And the horse just didn't seem like it was enjoying it.
If you think about this less so like this giant creepy feature and more so like kind of an extension of your browser history, it actually, I think that's a better way to think about it because you have the same sort of controls that you can delete, your browser history for the last day, week, month. The main difference is this is an easier way to track not only your browser history, but also other things that you're doing on your system.
The problem here is that that's all well and good.
Yeah.
But not everyone gets to talk to executives at Microsoft to be reassured on that. Kind of like what you're talking about. The marketing on this is terrible.
Well, there's also confusion because another feature that was running on device was co-creator. But the thing is, the way that works, that does use the cloud. Yeah. But the way it uses the cloud is completely different than the way you would think. When you type the prompt in, it sends that prompt to the cloud and it says, hey, are you about to make something nefarious?
So I can't use co-creator to make my...
Oh, God. I need to delete my recall.
I don't want to
have
have to keep buying those off of Fiverr. Ignoring all the AI side of things, how it sits on your drive is going to be super important. There's still a actual screenshot on your hard drive of potentially sensitive data.
Screenshots of your sweaty fan fictions that you're writing.
Can you not be disgusting for 1 second here? But like, all right, you're working in your bank account stuff. Do you think Grandpa Joe is going to know to go
turn it on?
But it's on by default.
Actually, I don't think so. All the demos that I saw were obviously systems that had already been set up. It is a specific button in your taskbar. You open the app. I would be shocked if that is on by default.
And of course, right after we finish filming this video, Microsoft does confirm that recall will actually be on by default. Now, while I understand why they want to keep their flagship feature on and ready right out of the box, I'll be honest, I actually would feel a lot better about it if it was off and they just prompt you to turn it on. So Matt was right. At least a little bit, not that much.
I want to know what type of files these are. Of like, is it something that is viewable by default?
Good question. Yeah.
Like that's like, is it an actual screenshot? Is it like a PNG? Is it a GIF? I want it to be something that it can't like accidentally be viewed. Like it should be some sort of weird.
Be locked down. No one else should be able to get access to it.
Even yourself.
I don't have all the details. What I do understand is that 25 gigs disappears from your SSD.
Yes.
It is now built into your recall sort of background. I don't know the exact specifics, but I was told that it is encrypted. That is my understanding. I hope that I am correct on that.
Coming back though to what I was saying, if you get the 256 model, you don't have a 256 computer with Windows and partition, whatever. You have like 120 gigs of usable storage.
I mean, if you're that concerned about it, you can just turn it off.
I don't like that argument right now because this is the whole reason to get one of these systems.
There are other features here. So like, even if you don't care about the recall, you don't trust it, that's fine. That's fine. That's totally fair. But at a core level, you can turn off all the AI stuff if you want. In that case, you're getting a device which had have good performance. The app compatibility is a little bit of a question, but there are a lot of optimized apps. Games probably being the one area where you're not going to see a lot of optimization. But that being said, I've seen plenty of demos of games running at okay sort of performance, considering it's, a thin and light kind of laptop. You can just sort of treat these as sort of like a 50-50 thing. Now, I completely understand everyone who has misgivings about how much the Windows 11 bloat has expanded with ads and yada, 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 and tracking, and there's all this stuff that's kind of built. And I've seen plenty of people are like, well, yeah, sure, it's running on device now, but how long until they turn on by default? And at that point, I'll be right there with you being super, super pissed. But I have no reason to not believe that Microsoft are doing this locally on device without going to the cloud. All this data is encrypted. I understand that it's not been communicated very well. I completely agree with that. I also understand that people have misgivings about this. But if you think about it as how, like, your browser history, these are just files that are just sitting on your computer, right? Like, we've never had a problem with that. This is like a better version of this that actually has some protection.
There's a big difference between the browser and this. But it doesn't have photos of your Discord chat. It doesn't have photos of your...
Discord has all of that.
But it's all separate. This here is consolidating all of your data. If there is, God forbid, a privacy breach, they got everything all at once.
Okay, someone has access to your system. Yes, they can use this to look up all your stuff. Or they could literally click on Discord, they click on any of the things and find it already.
This is curating that for them.
But it's curating it for you. That's like saying that I don't want to keep any of my files organized because someone else could find them. All this is organizing the stuff that you've got right now, right?
It's not messy, it's compartmentalized, which is a difference.
Well, then just turn it off. But like, to me, don't turn it on. I want to put the context there. This should not be on by default. If it's on by default, I will be grumpy as well.
I don't trust them to not. This is the selling feature. This this is what they led their keynote with. It's just like, oh, I'm gonna pay a lot of money for this laptop. We're kind of glossing over how big of a step this is for ARM laptops. And I said in another video, this is the most excited I've been for a Windows laptop in a long time. I'm in my arc right now where I'm trying to find my perfect laptop.
You're on your arc? I thought you were on your edge.
I'm gonna throw you out of a moving building. I'm gonna do the comments for
Okay,
us
go
here.
ahead. Hit me with the
And we're gonna have
comments.
to censor all of them.
Okay, cool.
Get Microsoft's dick out of your mouth.
Jesus Christ.
Microsoft shill over here.
You have too good of grammar. I think, yeah.
Pretend like I spelled all of those wrong. and then we got, then we're fine.
Perfect. I just think that it was not super clear, especially because there's so much this cloud, this not, this. I think a lot of people, unless you were paying a lot of attention, didn't quite understand. And I would be incredibly mad if any of this stuff ever hit the cloud. If any of these things are not true, I'm right there with you, and that's a feature that is completely over the top. If that's not the case, people are gonna be super pissed.
But here's
right?
the thing. Can I do a little Flip-eroonie-o? This is gonna be completely contradictory to everything else I just said.
Okay, I'm excited for it. Go ahead.
I want this to be sunk amongst my devices. If I'm doing X on my laptop, I can pull it up on my desktop. When I pull out my Windows Copilot phone, oh wait, I wasn't supposed to leak that. A big reason why I sit with the Apple ecosystem is all my folders are just sunk across all my devices.
Theoretically, if they really wanted to, I understand why they didn't. I don't necessarily think it's a good idea. But once you have that data, you could probably sync it to the cloud if you wanted to, if they wanted to enable that. But for the exact reasons that we're having this conversation right now, people are not going to trust it. Maybe down the line, they'll turn that. But again, I have some confidence that Microsoft are not going to be complete morons just because it's going to be found out. They're going to get into huge trouble. People are going to be super mad.
I think it's a poor choice of words to be like, Microsoft's not going to be a bunch of morons after the past little bit here. I can solve all this right now. All new systems, we ditch Face ID, we ditch fingerprint. From now on, all systems have a little prick, and you prick your finger. Everything is now blood. It'll only take a sample that is within 7 seconds.
And I'm the one writing sweaty fan fiction over here.
It would measure the oxidization of the blood in the air. AI should know that this is my blood type and my level of blood to Dr. Pepper ratio. So
I don't know what we solved here, but all
let
I know
us know
is
what you think about AI and the Dr. Pepper blood prick.
No, don't talk about that.
System.
No one wants to talk about that. And don't forget to recall you can keep track of all your favorite This Is videos you've ever watched live on Windows Recall.
I can't wait to curate all the super sus things that we're gonna be beeping right now. My folder is gonna be floweth over.